Hello, this is PS Ducky. I am here with a new challenge. This challenge is for a game that really figured into my youth. So, without further ado, let me introduce the game. The game is EverQuest. Specifically, I'm going to be using the House of Thule expansion for this challenge, for reasons that I'm going to be explaining later, even though in my youth that expansion didn't exist. And as for what challenge it is, well, I call it the Freebie challenge, because the goal is to advance from level 1 to level 90 without spending a cent. Okay, so there are 4 rules I'm setting for myself in this challenge. Rule number 1, have to have a free account at all times. Can't use silver, can't use gold, I have to use the lowest level free account. This is why I'm using the House of Thule expansion instead of Veil of Alaris, because free accounts aren't allowed to use Veil of Alaris. Rule 2. Not allowed to buy anything on the station marketplace. If it costs station cash, I'm not allowed to get it. If it's free, however, it's fair game. Rule 3 is something I set just to make it a little harder for me, and that is I have to use a stock UI. Can't use any mods. And Rule 4, again, set it for myself to make things a little harder, that the only help from outside the game I'm allowing myself is your comments on these videos. Other than that, I can only use what is provided to me inside the game. Alright, now that I spent almost 2 minutes explaining things and probably boring you to death, what do you say I get into the game and play some EverQuest? Alright. Before I can play, I have to create a character, and I'm starting with this because I thought I would start at the very beginning. So, create character, and let's look at the different. I want to play a wizard. Looking at the different races, deities, barbarians can't be wizards, so who cares? I don't want to be gnome, so I think I'll play a human wizard. That's what I feel like playing. For deity, I'll pick Solusek Row, the Burning Prince. And for city, well, there's only one choice. Now I'm going to turn the tutorial off because I've tried the tutorial before and it hasn't worked. It's resulted in a whole bunch of failed recordings, so I'm not going to do that. So, and as far as appearance, I actually like the appearance. The only thing I want to change is get rid of the mustache. I don't like the mustaches. And I'm gonna pick a random name. And let's go. Entering Crescent Reach. And a loading screen. Of course there's a loading screen. There's lots of loading screens in this game. At least there were lots of loading screens when I played this game in my youth. Still loading. gonna get rid of this stupid welcome window. And a book stuck to my cursor. I'll just stick it in my inventory. Okay, Hero's Journey. You now have the ability to summon a tome that will help guide you. I'll open. Okay, that tome is the thing I just put in my inventory. Now, before I do anything, I do have to make a couple changes to the default controls. See, right now I'm using WASD and it's not doing anything. That's the control I prefer to use. And it doesn't work with the default controls. Luckily, I can change that. Just have to find it. Where's the options? And no, this isn't it. Here it is. Keys. W, S, no, A, sorry. D, S, and now D conflicts with the duck, so I'm going to map that to X, and I'm good. Now, no, not the bandolier, the inventory. There are two items that I need to look at. Well, first one's the tome, which I am going to look at. And it says you should get to know the city better. Emissary Tinvin in the Dragon's Grove, that's this person, knows a few individuals that you should introduce yourself to. Okay. The other thing is this. It says, welcome to Crescent Reach. The city is home of dragon, race created by dragons, blah blah blah. What's important is it says, take this note to Firetongue Athantis, the masters of Reach House in Dragon's Grove. I'll get to that later. And that's not what I want. What I do want, not that. Didn't mean to hit attack. Okay, I don't have any quests right now. Okay, it's time to fix that. I do want a quest. Alright, she's giving me a quest. She's saying, welcome to Crescent Reach, Diamond of Mountains, Emissary Tinvin recommends that all youths visit their guild masters. Okay, that is the person the note just said to visit. So, one of the nice things that's in the game now that wasn't there when I was younger and played this game more, a map. And this Atlas tab just shows the bigger world, and yeah, that's the Atlas. So go ahead. So yeah, we don't care about the Atlas. We care about the map. So, the map is where I am, is what's important. This green arrow is where I am on the map. Oh, someone died. And right here, Guild Masters, that's where I want to go. So, close the map. All I have to do is follow this path. Now, these graphics, pretty crappy by today's standards, but this game's 13 years old. So, 13 years ago, these graphics were really good. Wonder why all these people are freaking dying in this game, in this area, in this game. They shouldn't be. But anyway, I think it's time to get some better armor. I've done a bunch of failed recordings. I shouldn't say a lot, but a bunch. So I know exactly what I'm doing at this part. Failed recordings mainly because my camera crapped out. But anyway, I click on my guild summons, give it to Athantis. She gives me the Arcane Alliance Apprentice Tunic. This is your basic crappy newbie armor. 2 armor. Since I currently have no armor at all, see right here, no armor. I'm putting it on. Now I have something. Now, my spells right here. I have minor shielding, which I should probably cast right now. And I have Blast of Cold. Now back in the day, I'm going to be talking a lot about back in the day. We didn't start with any spells, so that's an improvement. And we still buy our spells from the merchant at the low levels. I never got to the high levels. I wasn't very good back in the day. So why the hell am I doing a challenge? For the fun of it, and so that you can make fun of me on YouTube, basically. But I don't have anywhere near enough money to buy spells. So forget that. But I did complete the first step of the quest. So now I have to speak to initiate Dakin. And seriously, not really doing this so you can make fun of me, but I'm doing this for the fun of it and because it makes interesting videos. And that's a good enough reason. So, I go up the steps, through the cave. This city, Crescent Reach, back in the day, didn't exist. Back in the day, we had other cities that we had to use. Oh, there's Initiate Dakin. Now, I have to actually type stuff in order to get what he wants me to do. What tasks? Mushrooms? I am interested. And he gives me a quest. So, but he has other quests. So, I'm going to talk to him again. Yeah, this guy has 3 quests, so I'm gonna get them all. And you don't really, at least back in the day, you didn't have to type it in complete sentences like this. You could just type, for example, what, and then whatever the thing in brackets is, but I'm just typing it in complete sentences just 'cause. Okay, so I've found Master's Hall. I've spoken with Initiate Dakin. Now I have to talk with Innkeeper Fathis. So, okay. Looking at the sign, that says Crescent Sunrise. Fireheart Tavern, that's not the inn. Traveler's Nook is merchant. It's not the inn anyway. Trade Dragon's Den, I think this is the inn. So I'm going to go here, Innkeeper Fathis. So, I'm going to close out the quest journal for now. And I talk to him. Yeah, I'm not going to put an exclamation mark. Alright, so he gives me a note. And says to give it to me. It says for me to give it to Council Aide Mistrana. And now I have some money. This is a lot more than I would get at the beginning of the game back in the day. I mean, I have 3 gold. At the beginning of the game back in the day, I would be lucky to have 3 silver. And a lot of the time, I probably will come across as kind of back in the day, we had to walk uphill in the snow both ways kind of thing. But that's because it was a lot harder. At least I've heard. I haven't played in a long time, but I've heard that they've made the game easier. And it was hard back in 2000. Yes, it was that long since I really played this game. Well, anyway, it has been a lot of time. I can't check the video time while I'm recording, but I am going to call this an episode. I have completed my first quest. It's in the quest history now instead of the current tasks. And in the next video, I'm going to work on getting... not that. In the next video, like I said, in the next video, I'm going to work on getting this note, which I can't read, to Council Aide Mistrana, and then I'm going to work on getting some of these other quests done. I'll see you then.